Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Anthony. Thanks for coming to Bible study with me. As always, let's pray. Father, I thank you so much for today. I pray that you open our hearts and open our minds to receive what you have for us, Lord. I pray that you guide me and speak through me. Let your will be done, not mine. I thank you and I praise you and I lift up your holy, wonderful, precious name. Amen. All right. So, let's see. There we go. We're going to be in Psalms for a little bit today. Yesterday, during my Bible study, um, I'm doing a Bible study right now on um, how Jesus is the shepherd, right? As Christians, believers, we are his flock. So I want you to, as I read this chapter, think about, like, imagine an actual shepherd with his sheep, guiding his sheep. Okay. So this is Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. So a good shepherd knows when he needs to move the flock and knows how and where to go to get them what they need, right? So he's going to guide them to the water. He's going to guide them to the green pastures for them to eat. He restores my soul and guides me in the path of righteousness. So, being the good shepherd Jesus is, he, in all of that, he's um, guiding our path for righteousness. He's, just like this, restoring your soul, right? That's why you can bring anything to the Lord, right? Um, so he guides me in my path, in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, thy comfort me. So as the shepherd's guiding the sheep through wherever they're going, um, the sheep aren't scared. They're just going where they're told to go because the shepherd is there to protect them, right? Um, David, from David and Goliath, King David, right? How he protected his sheep because he was a shepherd. He got really good at the sling, right? Um, Before he defeated Goliath, he defeated bears and lions and probably wolves, um, for in protection of his flock. Um, so as we go through our life, and I know this is way easier said than done, um, but we don't don't live in a place of fear, okay? Because his rod and staff should give you comfort. All right. Thou dost prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. So remember when, well, you may not know, I don't know, um, during the Last Supper, I believe it was the Last Supper, one of the ladies um, anointed Jesus in honor of him. And some of the disciples, or one of the disciples, thought that was a waste of money because of the perfume that she used. She could have sold that, got money, and then gave it to the poor. And Jesus was like, shut your face. She's honoring me and doing good work here. It's basic, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. Um, so Jesus will anoint us as well. All right, verse 6. Surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord. So, starting at the beginning, Jesus is going to lead us through the pastures to eat, lead us to the waters to drink. We're going to go through trials, but we need to have comfort in Jesus' power to protect us as we go through those trials. And if we have that, we'll come through it stronger, and he will anoint us, and then we'll get to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You know, I've heard this chapter so many times through my whole life, and I never looked at it in the aspect of, like, I mean, it starts off with the Lord is my shepherd, right? I never thought about it in the most literal sense of, okay, a shepherd is in the field herding his flock. Um, back in the, you know, 2,000 years ago days, probably a lot sooner than that. There's probably flocks alive today, but the flocks literally know the voice of their shepherd. Back in the time of when the Bible was written, when Jesus was alive, they would have a bunch of flocks put together for protection for at night. And then every morning, the shepherd would come out and call his flock, and be like, yo, hey, we're leaving, right? Um, just like with any other, like dog sleds, right? They know their owner's voice and commands. The sheep does the same. And so they could come out and be like, whatever their call is to, hey, we're moving, we're going this way. And then all the sheep from his herd follow that shepherd, and everybody else stays in the pen. Um, so how well are we hearing Jesus's voice? I know that's something I struggle with often. Um, with the phones, with the TVs, with all the devices and things that we have right at our disposal. Um, we got so much noise, essentially, coming at us, so much information. When do you give time to yourself to just sit and listen? Right? Just sit still and listen. Right? Um, where does it say in the Bible? Be still and know that I am the Lord. Um, by no means, I don't think I do that every day. Well, actually, I could say that now. Because every day, right after I'm done doing my videos, I do a prayer, and I just sit and kind of meditate and be quiet for a little bit. Um, and depending on what time it is, and depending on if I need to get moving, Some days I will do a really good in-depth Bible study at that time, do some more praying, and then go start go start my day and stuff like that. Other days I will, um, like this morning, I'm not going to have time to. As soon as I'm done with the video, I'm gonna have to get in the shower pretty quick. Um, at my church, my wife and I serve on the production team. I'm on the camera crew, and my wife's a stage manager. We're a remote church, so we have to set up every Sunday and then tear down. So we have to be there at 6:30, and we have 4 kids. So, um, so everybody has to wake up early. So I wake up at least an hour before everybody else to get my coffee and do my videos. Um, and then I'll have to do my Bible study and my own reading after I'm done with setting up cameras or after church. Um, at least today, because I didn't wake up early enough to actually get any of my reading done for today. But I'll get it done. I will. Okay, so is the Lord leading your life? I've said this before. I truly believe this. God is talking to you in your head. God is talking to you all the time. He's talking to me all the time. We just need to learn how to shut our mouths and be still and listen. And when we do that enough, we can learn to hear his voice. I truly believe he is talking to every single person all the time. He wants to have a relationship with you. He wants to talk. He wants to communicate. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way. He wants to know about your struggles, how your day's going, right? All sorts of stuff. You don't have to, when you pray, you don't have to pray in a specific, I mean, there is suggested, essentially guidelines. You got the Lord's Prayer, and I actually went over that in I think that was my first video. Now I think about it, I should redo that video. Um, but Jesus is like, when you pray, pray like this. And if you break down each category, it's just set in categories, right? Talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. When you pray, talk about these things. Um, so, I've been chatting this whole time. This chapter really hit me yesterday. Never really looked at it in that way. Right? The Lord is my shepherd. I'm his sheep. As a Christian growing up my whole life, I've always known that. But it never really hit me and been like, okay, and look at it in that way. And it's really kind of eye-opening yesterday when I read it and then thought about it and I was like, whoa. And then I reread it and I was like, yeah, I like that. So, all right, I'm going to get off here. Got a couple of minutes to do some prayer and quiet time, and then I got to get moving. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you, and have a great rest of your Sunday.